of a riveting tale about a mysterious ship and the handsome Indian man who's supposed to be on it. Just chill. Just so we're clear, this book is not the Da Vinci Code. There is no murder, no historical saga, very few chase scenes, unless you count multiple instances of me running from malicious boarding school teachers. And no discovery of God. Okay, fine. There is one discovery of God. But hey, back to that young man who is cry laughing on the beach. I am in Cozumel, Mexico, one of the most beautiful places in the world, listening to a 6-star luxury ship blow its horn as it heads back to the United States with 1,000 drunk Indians on board. Sadly, I am not one of those drunk Indians, even though I am supposed to be on the ship. I am the ship comedian, or I was the ship comedian. During the 48 hours I spent on the ship, it felt weirdly ironic to be part of a group of 1,000 Indians planning to invade a Mexican island to blare Hindi music while having a dandiya dance party for 6 hours dressed in head-to-toe heavy Indian clothing. I've never seen white, mostly naked tourists look as confused as when they saw an army of naked local brown people dancing next to overly dressed foreign brown people on the same beach. It was like the global extremities of brown had collided and the Indians had won for a night, but then retreated. The retreat makes sense because we're not historically known for our colonizing abilities. This dance party happens once a year, thanks to a few rich Indians from Texas who rent out a luxury Carnival cruise line ship. They change the menu, the staff to Indian chefs who make legit Indian food, the music, the entertainment, pretty much everything but the captain and the design of the ship. Then they go on a 3-day family retreat where old people mingle, matchmake, and pretend that their kids aren't doing drugs and having sex in every corner of the ship that has low lighting. For the amusement of the young people, this family took a punt and decided to hire a young comedian who had just graduated from a small Midwestern college. I'd done stand-up exactly once before the trip. I said yes, not for money, but for the alleged exposure. Of all the red flag words a freelancer can hear, exposure is the biggest one. Nothing good comes after that word. The logic is that because Indians are so well networked, if you perform for one group for next to nothing, it will lead to word-of-mouth publicity, and therefore more offers to entertain the next group. What they don't tell you is that the word-of-mouth mentions that you perform for next to nothing. As if performing for a bunch of cruise ship guests would land me an Emmy. I took the ship gig to see something new, to feel something new. I needed a change, because I had spent the last 4 years hopelessly in love with someone who I'd recently found out was cheating on me. Making a room full of captive rich people laugh, or really failing to make them laugh, barely dulled the pain. Nor did binging on kulfi at the buffet or dancing with an Indian cougar mom who was struggling to not spill pina colada all over herself. Unfortunately, I was only becoming more miserable by the day. When we had gotten off the ship for the Cozumel excursion, I'd called my bank from a payphone. Yes, a payphone, to learn that I was $2,000 overdrawn. Now imagine me, scared, heartbroken, and at a loss, literally. My 2 shows for the 1,000 Indians had mostly gone disastrously with old people scoffing and young people too scared to laugh in front of the uptight elders. I had sex with a stranger on the ship, and it had not gone well. I'd spent my last dollar trying to contact my family, and I couldn't reach them. And then, as I had attempted to get on the ship to depart, the tiny Mexican man at the desk on the pier informed me that my I-20 student visa was expiring, and because I had technically left American waters, he couldn't let me back on. I was stuck on an island in Mexico that was the size of a public park in New Delhi. Not one of the 100 of Indians on the ship tried to save me. Thanks, guys. I asked the man at immigration what I was supposed to do, and he said, I don't know, but you have to stay here outside. I was 22 years old, exactly half my life ago. I was told I had to stay outside the boat, the country, everything. As I write this, I'm 44, and I'm still outside. We live in the future, so we all know I eventually made it back to India, but I'll get to that later. You can probably guess that aside from not being an action mystery thriller full of chase scenes, this isn't a story about a man who started a comedy scene in Cozumel and grew to be the most beloved.
To keep listening to this audiobook for free, click the link in the description. It will take you to a free Audible trial where you can listen to this and many other books for free for 30 days.